Hello everyone and welcome back to AustinTalks, where today we are finally, after a month, and my sincere apologies, we are doing the Loki Season 2 review. And just to let you know, tomorrow is when you will get the Marvel's review as well. And I know it has been a very long time, but I do know that Marvel's is on streaming services now, so I think it's actually a pretty good time. But Loki is my issue, so I do apologize for that. So without further ado, that's enough of me rambling. I think we should just get right into this because it was a mad season. So let's just get right into it. First off, what was the season 1 aftermath? Now, I can't actually lay this on thicker, but I'm actually really glad this happened though. But this season 2 took place like directly after season 1. It was like the same scene, same setup as everything. Now this show does show us how important season 1 was to us, but like after that, it was sort of like it does float away. Like that scene at the very end kind of floats away as if it never happened after episode 1. Now, however, it is at this point that we do get a lot of context to what happened at the very end, and like the TVA was like, and like what it was like beforehand and why it changed. And episode 1 was like it was filled with much context, but to be honest, it was basically pruned out of existence after that. It was basically irrelevant after that, but. Well, I guess at least we got a little bit of context, and it was kind of glimpsed upon like throughout the rest, but during the first episode, that's kind of like all we got. Now, the timeline change. Throughout the first episode, we actually get to understand the idea of what time slipping is, which is a very important aspect, and how it's. It's funny how they emphasize how impossible it is in the TVA, and yet it is a very common thing that happens. Now, many things like within the TVA are disproven during this season, and I don't think I can emphasize that enough. A lot during, and it is one of them. The time slipping is one of them. Now, I like the timeline change at first when we see that Mobius doesn't know him, and it kind of shows a bond that has been built between Loki and Mobius at that point. But how sad that Loki is, which is what can be seen on screen. But I also like how serious they are as well. Now, and nobody knows what's happening, and it is a very good use of Enigma code, which is mystery, and it is during this episode that we get a bit more context of what He Who Remains role was, because we always thought that was Kang, but it was just He Who Remains, and which he was the face of the TVA, which gave a great portrayal of Kang as like a tyrant overall, because it was we saw like a little poster in the back of when they in the halls of the Kang the multiversal war. So it was very cool. Now, the temporal loom scene. I actually thought it was the temporal loop. Yeah, that is sad, but it's the temporal loom. Now, this scene was briefly shown in trailers, and I called it the fabrics of time, mainly because that is what it is. But it has a name. And in this episode, we get a bit more context of what the temporal loom is, which is a fueled, it is fueled by temporal energy, and it closes off all of the timelines that have been brought together and prunes some of the ones that are insignificant or as best as possible. Then the TVA have to chime in. Now, this place has a lot of radiation in the first episode, and it is shown that it is melting down. Now, I remember when I watched it, it was like, there's nothing can go wrong, but I was wrong. There was a lot a lot of the storyline at the very end revolved around the temporal loom, and it kept on coming back and back throughout the whole series, which showed its importance, which is good, because we all knew it was important, but I'm glad we at least got a bit more context. I didn't like him. Me nor like him. In the second episode called Breaking Brad, I actually think that's an amazing play on words. We are introduced to Brad Wolf. Now, we secretly find out that he was a person that left the TVA to gain his own life on the timeline, which is apparently really cherished. Now, it is weird that they are told not able to do, But at the end of the season, they say it's actually recommended, and I think that's a great juxtaposition. Now, so Brad Wolf is also known as X5, and was a hunter, and that he left and helped the Sylvie do the same thing as he did, and she got her own place in the timeline, which is that she worked at a McDonald's. Now, I didn't like his attitude throughout the whole season, but like even when Renslayer and Miss Minutes was pruning people, you know that he actually had a good heart, because you knew he didn't like it either. But this season, like, it was great. It was a great introduction, that is for sure. Yeah. There was a lot of Loki's character development, especially in this episode overall. Now, in the Breaking Bad episode, Loki's true self really came around again. He was basically trying to torture Brad, and it should be that Loki is not afraid to get his hands dirty, which is kind of brings us back to the common the common stereotype of what Loki is: mischievous, and it comes and goes during the season. I mean, in the first season, that's kind of expected since he just came out of what character he was. But in this season, he kind of flows in and out until the very end. Now, it is not afraid to get his hands dirty, and he's a bit ruthless in this episode, and just maybe a bit more than a little ruthless. I'll just say. He is a bit ruthless. He tries to shrink wrap Loki. I mean, we saw he tries to shrink wrap Brad, and we see in this episode that we see in another episode how the corpses of how they all work when they're all squashed together. Now that is rough. That was you could hear that. You didn't see it. You heard the sound effects, which was wrong. Yeah, now his character development shines through in this season, not only as a good guy, but as a bad guy as well. But it changes from the regular stereotype revolving around the character as being evil and self-wanting, which is, self-want is a very big part of Loki's character development, which is something that is constantly referred to. However, this is in the final moments of the season, this is juxtaposed, which is actually a very good thing to me, if you ask me. Yeah, Renslayer and Miss Minutes was, they were a big dynamic duo. A very big dynamic duo. In the third episode, and it's actually in the scene, the one that you can see on screen, is the one that she does her, they actually kill everyone in a very brutal way. Now, in the third episode, Renslayer and Miss Minutes are revealed to be working together. I mean, that was kind of clear at the end of the last season, but, it's set in stone now. Now, at first it seems that Renslayer is one of those who is ruthless and cruel, but it turns the tables around because it's Miss Minutes who is the weird and twisted one. She tries to manipulate. Both of them try to manipulate Timely, and they become trying to make him a variant of Kang, which while he kind of is, he also tries to he basically fights that. And he becomes a really nice dude, which is said in the final episode. While he was already one, they wanted him to be like Renslayer knew him, which is what I'll get to in a bit. And now this was weird because at first they because Victor Timely had a bad rap even before the season began, because in the post-credit scene of the Ant-Man movie, you thought he was going to be a bad character, and obviously Victor Timely is a known villain in the MCU and in the Marvel comics, so. Yeah, so I like how they've actually changed the character. So they sold him as a bad character, but in this season they actually revealed him to be really good. So actually, Marvel deserves a clap for that, because they actually baited us. So honestly, very good idea, very smart. Just Renslayer and Miss Minutes is a dynamic duo. Miss Minutes is awful. I do not like her. Because in this scene, you can tell in Renslayer's facial expression, she's trying to stay strong, but she knows what she's doing is wrong. She's just I don't care, just do what you do. Yeah, so I don't like Miss Minutes. Yeah, Victor Timely's presentation. Now, I like the setting. The Victorian setting is very it is cool. It like the timing is very cool, and I like how it's actually been laid out. It's like some Downton Abbey stuff. Now, I mean, in episode 3 revolves around this setting, to be fair, and it does introduce us to Victor Timely, as I said. Now, his presentation does strike fear into Loki, which is really cool, as it does portray Kang as being who is terrifying, who we quickly learn he is not Kang. But obviously, changes were actually when they meet him, because he's very nice. Now, Victor is actually really fun for, like he fought he fought for Renslayer and wants and Renslayer wants him to try wants him to herself, and then tries to kill him. Thank you, Miss Minutes. But this presentation does not really sell us the Kang side of things. I mean, I like it's like the temporal thing, but then we quickly learn this is all inspired by the book by Ouroboros, and then the Ouroboros is inspired by Victor Timely. It's very confusing. Now, I like how it shows the Victorian side of things and not like the Kang side of things, because at the end of the day, he is not Kang. He is just Victor. Now, probably because the technology used then was not as great, but it is still impressive. That is for sure. Yeah, I do think the presentation is very good, but I like how everyone else tries to manipulate him into being something he's not, but he overcomes that. So, yeah, good on you, mate. Yeah, so this is what I mean by Renslayer's past, because she's taken to the, what do you call it? It's like what's it called? The Citadel at the end of time. Yes, that's I remember. Now, Miss Minutes reveals her to the history, and this was surprising, but I love the subtle hint of comic accuracy, as it is clear that there is some love sparkling, but I hate how this only lasted for a few moments, because it is at this point that she tries her hardest to go after Victor Timely, but then he betrays her, and then she tries to kill him. Very confusing. Now, I don't think that this is the end for Kang or Renslayer as a love interest. Meaning, I don't think that this is the end for Renslayer either. Now, I don't know how this will change over time, because I'm honestly certain Kang ain't coming back to the MCU. But anyway, time for this needs to happen, because they are so close, they are really close. To building a very good storyline with Kang, not only He Who Remains, and unfortunately I remember this, so this needs to be fixed. Yeah, so just please fix this, I'm begging you. Now, Victor Timely's death was very unfortunate, that's for sure. Now, this was very unexpected, but the whole thing that with time and resurrection is we all know that he would be fine. Yes, he would. But this also raises the question of whether someone dies in the upcoming movies, because if he went constantly back in time, but in the upcoming movies it does raise we don't know if anyone can really die, but because Loki can just be like, oh yeah, I like you, I don't want you to die, and there you go, have another go. But, if that's really the case, if Doctor Doom does come, Loki can be like, yeah, you die. It kind of just takes the purpose out of it, but it can just be a bit weird, but you really have to sell it, unless, God Emperor Doom takes over and kills Loki. That's the only way that would go properly. Now, this was a very unfortunate and very graphic. It did really remind me of spaghetti. And someone else that turned into a pile of noodles. Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. I won't forget that my guy turned into a load of noodles. Okay, and there is not much other to say. The reason he died was too much radiation, but I don't remember I don't remember radiation turning you into a pile of noodles. I do know a couple people. In definite history, people have died of radiation, like radiation poisoning. I don't think that's what happens. I really don't. I just don't think that. I mean, yes, it's obviously a science fiction show, but still, radiation won't vaporize even to noodles. Yes, Mobius is on a jet ski. My theory was right. That's twice that's happened on this channel. two theories that had been right. Now I thought that Mobius on the real timeline would have something to do with jet skis, and I actually love how invested he is in them, because like even though Loki says we're best mates, no, I want to still sell you a jet ski. I think that's great. Now it is very much overkill how much they sell, how much he's into jet skis. Now, Mobius on the timeline is really juxtaposes the TVA Mobius, as that Mobius is still figuring stuff out, but TVA Mobius is very much happy where he is, until the very end, when Loki is not there. Now, I'm just glad that we actually got a glimpse at his variant, and that it was jet ski related. That's the best part. Now, this will become like a meme very quickly, and it already has. There's even a Funko Pop of Mobius on a jet ski, which I think is like that's amazing and really top tier. So whoever came up with that, praises to you. It's an amazing idea. So I say, yes, let's have Mobius on a jet ski. And then, I think whoever created that Funko Pop, I want that Funko Pop. I know it'll be expensive, but trust me, I want it. Yeah, he is me. No, that sounds really, egotistic. No, I just want to be, or A.D. Wong is what's his name. But I want to be, Ouroboros now. In the 5th episode, Loki tries to go and find his friends on the timeline. We see that Casey is escaping from Alcatraz, a place I've actually been, so I actually really love the intertextuality there. Now, I also like this for 2 reasons. Now, Obi is one of them who is on the timeline. Now, I love how he tells everyone that's the same thing, and Obi is the only normal one who is actually comprehensive about all of everything that's happening, and when he is told what happens, he just goes with the flow. He did actually help with the issue at hand, which is better, but the best part is, he is my idol for 2 reasons. So, I want to be a theoretical physicist when I'm older, and the likelihood is very low, but I would love to go to Caltech. That's 2, actually, so there's 3. Now, he also likes to write books, science fiction especially. That's also what I like to do. Now, and everything he has accomplished, I want to accomplish. To me, best character in the MCU by far. Best character. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. He is my favorite character now. I like theoretical physics, and I aspire to Caltech, but I highly doubt I'm gonna get in. But I'm still gonna try. But I like how he writes books as well. So he is my idol. He is now my idol. Very important in the series. Sylvie and Loki bar talk. So they have a bar talk in the 5th or 6th episode, I believe. Now, this scene was more significant than people think. Now, this not only shows how very different these characters were from day one, but because obviously Sylvie hates the TVA, and yet Loki thinks of it as his home, because this Loki's home is basically the TVA. But it shatters away at Loki's true reason for restoring the TVA, which is because he misses his friends, which is what I mean when he goes, he wants it to, it's doing it out of self-want. He just wants his friends back. He doesn't want to restore the TVA, he just wants his friends, which is drawn out by Sylvie, showing that Sylvie and Loki are not so different. Now, it's perfectly good reason, but it is in the fact that Loki thinks of he has grown as a person. However, it is still a case of that he's just doing it through self-gain. Now, while this is bad, this changes in the very final scene right after this, and it is an exceptional character development when he actually goes and becomes the tree thingy for so this is a very crucial part of the season. I can't emphasize that enough. Very important. Yeah, restarting the TVA was another very important part. Now, in the final moments of the series, before we get the whole big thing, Loki starts the TVA 50 million times, but the idea of a mischievous going out of his way to restore something, that shows how great character development he has from that bar talk alone. Now, if I'm being completely honest, it didn't change other than their goals, which were only revolved around at the very end. So this, I want to kind of say this, like it should have gone to the bar talk, maybe 3 of these, and then not like 50 million, but it's just a thought that was significant. However, it did sort out that this was like all out of selflessness. So he didn't do it because it was the right thing. It was because it was what he wanted to, bringing us back to square one. So this was out of his own heart, not to do it for the greater good. So, as I say, I'll keep on coming back to this. As much as it's good character development, it is still out of self-gain. Which leads us to what happened to Loki. The thing at the side is yes. Now, at the end of episode 6, named Glorious Purpose, Loki finally found his glorious purpose and became the god of stories. With his magic powers, he helped restore the temporal loom and became one with the loom and the timeline. Now he must sit in that chair and hold on to a new time tree. So he must constantly hold on to separate timelines to make sure they can still live, and he can hear everything that is being said, which can be seen in the final moments when Mobius is talking about Loki. Now, how this impacts the storyline ahead with Tom Hiddleston no longer being Loki, I'm not too sure. However, it's not the end for Loki. We know that Loki can be played by many different actors, same by Sylvie. So obviously there's definitely different angles that they can go for. But I don't think it's the end of Loki. However, it's the end for Tom Hiddleston. But he was a great actor, that is for sure. Yes, the official ending. The TVA is now a hunting time people. Like we hunt time people and are evil organization. Isn't that basically the same as how it started? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's exactly what they did the first time. I mean, Loki was evil, and he was changed, and they're hunting people that float through time. I swear that's what they did. Like, okay, someone can comment if that is wrong, but I'm certain that's what they did. Like, Loki, go to episode 1, that is exactly what happened. Now, they are reverting to a time where Kang is no longer the leader, but someone that they are trying to hunt, and they know that Loki is the keeper of time now, so that timeline will be safe, and that he is the god of stories. Not the god of the timeline, he's the god of stories. Now, this is interesting, but this does bring us to the question. Will there be a season 3? I have a simple answer, which is right here, and the answer is no. No, it has been confirmed that literally no season 3. Now, it's looking likely that this was written in the past, but there is none. So, but it is looking likely that this will not be the case because there is nowhere to go from here. But there is a spin-off idea that it would just revolve around the new TVA and not have Loki associated with it, which it does not kind of defeats the purpose of the end, but okay, because it would showcase the aftermath of his work and the sacrifice. But Loki season 3 is looking highly unlikely, or now no, but we are most definitely optimistic that there is one thing that we can be assured: Loki will return. You can't, okay, I know what the MCU is like, but you can't just have that and then not defeat that. So you can't do that with Loki and then just have nothing to do with it, because it is a good ending. It is a good ending to Loki. It is not a good ending to Loki's character. In as much as, honestly, with the variants thing now, you don't need Tom Hiddleston. You can still do so much with. Don't get me wrong, Loki won't be the same without Tom Hiddleston, but you can't just do that. That's it wouldn't make sense storyline wise and common sense wise. Yes, series rating 9.1. Simple as that. Now, this was an okay season, but there was no real Kang connection if we are going off everything else that actually happened at the end. And when it began, it was actually really good. Now, I think it ended pretty well, and I also like how new things have been established for the characters already, assuring us that this isn't the end, but somehow it is the end. But and I do think it may be the end for Sylvie. Now, I also must say that the Kang events lived up to the hype, like the Kang, the events did live up to the hype with like He Who Remains, Manslayer, and Victor Timely. And as much as people hyped a Kang appearance, I'm still happy in like with the storyline, because I do think people would have been more invested in the Kang than it was the Loki, so I kind of understand why they didn't do it. But I would still like a Kang, but I guess I'm still happy. Don't get me wrong, I'm still happy with it. Fan theories? Surely. Yes, okay. Now, we've got 3 good ones. Two really short ones. Now, with the recent establishment of God Loki, and then with the recent news that Kang is no longer be the villain of Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, it would be logical to think that he will be the main villain of Secret War. While we know that Doom will probably be the Multiverse Saga's transfer instead of Kang, it would be a great twist if God Loki either becomes a villain or like the Beyonder. Okay, the Beyonder, fine, just not a villain, because it would just be stupid if you put him on the pedestal and not do anything with this specific arc. Right, I agree with that. I don't think he'll be a villain. Maybe become the Beyonder. I think that'd be a good idea. It would be defeat the purpose of the whole character development thing. I don't think being a villain would be, I think, stupid. Now, the TVA really doesn't have a purpose now, but this could mean that it could turn into the X-Men headquarters. No. Okay, now the reason for this is because we know that the TVA main building really resembles the X-Men base, and because we know that Deadpool 3 will have stuff to do with the time and the multiverse, I think that the TVA will become another base of operations for the X-Men, at least something along those lines. Building on that, I think that won't be for the X-Men, but I think that may be a base of operations in the Multiverse Saga, just not for the X-Men specifically, since after the Marvels, but anyway. Now, due to the events of Loki Season 2, all of this has caused an incursion because of the amount of timeline meddling, which could lead to the events of the Avengers post-Kang Plan B, known as Avengers Incursion, which will replace the Kang Dynasty and move over to Secret Wars. Okay, that's actually not a bad theory, but I didn't... the incursions thing doesn't make sense, because it was kind of disproven in Multiverse of Madness, but honestly, things change on a daily basis and nobody knows. Alright, everyone, that is the end of today's video, and honestly, if you have not gone to go and see Loki Season 2, I do recommend going to see it, because it is very good. But anyway, so that is the end of today's video. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment what else you'd like to see on the channel. Now, without further ado, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!